welcome back to Premier League Today, and I'm absolutely delighted to say in the studio, joining Ian and I, is Janine Anthony, an African football journalist. Janine, fabulous to see you. Welcome. Just talk to us a little bit about your job role and the connection to the Premier League.
I'm very happy to be here. I've covered African football for close to a decade, particularly the transition into European football. Some of your favorite pitches and features you've seen on the show, I produced that with a team of fantastic talents across the continent. And that's where we've noticed the growth, the impact, the reach of the Premier League, because it's really easy to say you're just a journalist till you start going into French-speaking countries and realize, like, wait a minute, this is absolutely massive. And, you know, that's where all my role comes together. And, you know, I'm able to be here to talk more about it.
Yeah, it's great to have you here because you've literally helped shape and set up some of the best shoots we've had in Africa on Premier League Today in recent years. There was one with Sadio Mane last year. Absolutely. It was fantastic, back at his village, and it was just fascinating. It's always a continent that brings such rich stories to the Premier League, isn't it? Because these players have come from all different places to England to play football, and every single one of them seems to have an incredible story to tell.
Absolutely, and even on social media, you see them say that they speak about it, and they become inspirational for people, you know, back home who also want to tread in that same path. So it's really brilliant to cover those impactful stories, really.
So is the Premier League in Africa as popular as ever? Because if we have a look at sort of the last 6 seasons of how many African players played in the Premier League, I think we're a little bit down this season, as 35. But the numbers are pretty strong, aren't they?
Yes, so if you allowed all African fans to play in the Premier League, trust me, there won't be space for many more players. So that in no shape or form, you know, diminishes the impact. There are a few things you have to look about. More than ever, the pandemic has really hit pockets, has really hit talents. Clubs are restraining themselves from selling their players. And there's also this little matter to Africans, but a huge matter to most experts about the Africa Cup of Nations and when it's placed. So it's usually placed in January, and that can't really change across African countries because you've got different weathers and seasons that changes that. So you see teams going to the, you know, the crunch time in January saying, oh, how, you know, these players will go to Africa for the tournament. Who are we going to look at? So you have teams like Liverpool, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, you know, Naby Keita, the days when Joe Matip would play as well. 4 African players gone in January, crunch time. So a lot of teams are withholding and saying, let's assess the situation a little bit more. But nonetheless, no matter how many players you have in the league, the fans, the love, the growth of the league, you know, to the players and to the fans as well, is just massive. So that doesn't really count much.
Yeah, we see that on Fan Zone every single day, don't we? Incredible, some of the knowledge and the passion that African supporters have for the Premier League. We've talked about numbers there, Janine. They are a little bit down on previous years, but there's a lot of new names this season as well that give the sense that this is still growing, there's still momentum behind it. Who should we be looking out for in your mind?
One of them definitely is Sindaka. That boy, because, I mean, you look at the fact that he started, you know, he really came to prominence from 2017. So it's been a ride. It's been a trajectory from winning a youth tournament to growing into a team to becoming a top player in another league, to finding his age with confidence, understanding the different facets of the league and, you know, his tactics. And I think Brendan is really going to bring, you know, more about that into his play. I think that's one player I definitely should be looking at as well.
I have to say, anything that Leicester do in terms of transfers, I completely trust them. Their track record themselves is incredible. Absolutely. So we look forward to seeing him a little bit more. Any other players for you that have caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Nigerian, so yeah. William Troost-Ekong. Part of it's interesting if he actually sold merchandise because he used to call him the Oyibo Wall in Nigeria, where he would partner, you know, and alluding to his mixed race origin, where he was just absolutely. Another player I would also be looking at going forward. Of course, we know for Arsenal, Nicolas Pepe. That's another player we can definitely be looking at, and someone who's also caught my eye as he's, you know, really grown. It's been really tough for him, but I think the reason why there's a lot more less attention on him has been, you know, the season, the coach, Saka as well, has taken that bit of price tag and pressure off him as well. So he's a player that should also be, we should be looking at as well for.
Yeah, Janine, there is a sense that he's sort of been
say he should be preferably playing from the left, where he's a little bit more direct, as against if he plays from the right. you can see he's very tentative, he wants to out-dribble. And defenders have all times, when you're done, we're going to get the ball off you. So that, diminishes his confidence. But I think with all of the fora around Arsenal, that's taking a bit of a thing away from him, that attention. And he's got, 2 more years on his contract. So I think he should be coming in on his own right now and really be dominating himself. But again, the likes of Saka and all the other players in the team that's really competing for that shirt might make it quite difficult. So he's got to really make it count the next, year or so, yeah.
Yeah, even from an African sense, having a Aubameyang up front takes attention off you, doesn't it? OK, let's hear from Nicola Pepe then. We spoke to him recently about his hopes for the season at Arsenal.
Nico, what are your visions and hopes for the season ahead?
Essayer de décrocher l'Europe, toujours. C'est toujours l'objectif du club et faire mieux que la saison précédente. Comme on n'a pas eu d'Europe, c'est sûr que pour cette saison, c'est mieux de jouer l'Europe.
Excellent ball, lovely finish. It's a great strike from Pepe.
Je suis sûr que la première saison où j'ai été ici, j'avais marqué 6 buts en première ligue, je pense. Et la deuxième saison, j'avais l'objectif de faire plus. Donc cette saison aussi, j'ai aussi l'objectif de faire mieux. Donc c'est toujours une progression. Donc j'espère aussi atteindre ces chiffres-là.
Support from Aubameyang! Arsenal have their boot on the Tottenham throat!
It will be Pierre Aubameyang's 3rd season as captain. Just what is he like as a captain?
Toujours le même, un leader dans le vestiaire et sur le terrain, c'est sa personnalité. Et, il l'est en sélection comme il est ici, donc ça ne sera pas un problème pour lui. Moi, directement, quand j'étais arrivé à Arsenal, l'anglais, je comprenais vraiment rien. Et lui, c'était lui qui m'aidait vraiment surtout, même en dehors du centre d'entraînement pour m'adapter au plus vite. Et franchement, c'est quelque chose qui m'a aidé. Et ça m'a permis aussi d'apprendre plus rapidement anglais grâce à lui. Et c'est sûr que s'il ne serait pas là, il y avait peut-être aussi Sindaka aussi, mais il a eu une grande part d'aide au début de mon arrivée ici.
What's been the message from the manager and how you're going to continue to achieve more this season?
Le discours est toujours le même, gagner les matchs, vraiment s'entraider, être fort dans les deux surfaces. C'est surtout ça, être solidaire. Et surtout, c'est ce qui va nous faire gagner des matchs. Toujours, comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, faire mieux que la saison précédente. Donc, essayer d'être le plus décisif possible et aider au mieux mon équipe.
Kane came sliding in, Saka kept going, and Arsenal lead Spurs 3-0. This place is flying.
Let me ask you, Janine, Arsenal's support in Africa, is Arsenal still one of the most supported clubs?
That's a very emotional question. Because you hear Arsenal fans saying, Thierry Henry and Nwankwo Kanu, if not because of how mesmerizing you guys were, we probably won't be supporting Arsenal because, especially with the results and when, they hadn't won a lot of things. But come rain, come sun, those fans still support the team. So yes, it's growing. And of course, they can link it back to African players, black players has really supported that fan culture on the continent.
But it's an emotional time for them.
It always is for Arsenal fans.
It's a roller coaster.
There's never been a time it's not been emotional, happy or sad or somewhere in between.
Absolutely.
You talked before about Sindaka, and we had this idea as well about the journey that a lot of the players have had from the African continent to play in the Premier League. He was born in the Netherlands, but like you say, he plays for Nigeria. A lovely tweet that he put out yesterday when he received his ball for making his first ever Premier League appearance. And you can see there, 8 years, 6 countries, 7 clubs, 227 club and 50 international appearances. Being told I'm not good enough, dream come true, he's in the Premier League. That sums it up really, doesn't it?
Yes, he truly, and I know Nigerian fans are listening, he truly is the Oyibo wall. He's the wall, and that journey can only inspire so many other people. I'm really, really happy for him.
Yeah, and he's not the only one with that sort of story either, is he? Like we were saying before, there seems to be so many players who've had to go through so much to get here.
Yeah, and he feels like he's completely refined because he's seen all these types of football, and he feels like, you know, I can get into any setup and switch. It becomes really natural. You earn this and you learn this along the way.
That tweet made me feel really emotional, even just seeing it again there. What a tweet that is. Look, Janine, I don't want you to offend anybody. However, can you pick your personal favourite African player? Because that's a question that we're asking our viewers today on social media.
Goodness me, where do I start from? Okay, I've covered a lot of players, but I think the one that stands out for me is Wilfred Ndidi. Not because he's Nigerian and I'm Nigerian and he's got a fantastic story, but he's a player that puts things together. When he's there, you're completely comfortable. And I really like that. And I think that he's not the best in every department, but he's efficient. And efficiency is all we need, really.
So it's not because he's Nigerian?
Don't do this to me now. Partly.
Partly, yeah. Janine, it's been absolutely brilliant to have you in here. Thank you so much. And thank you for answering that question as well, because like Beck said, we've been asking everyone, haven't we? Who is your favourite current African player in the Premier League? Joseph has been in touch to say, my favourite African player currently playing in the Premier League is Naby Lad. Great term. I just love that man called Naby Keita. We'll just call him Naby Lad.
Yeah, I think that's what we call him, isn't it? Big O's been in touch saying, my favourite player is Zimbabwean defensive mid who plays for Aston Villa. Marvellous Nakamba.
Yeah, I love his first name, Marvellous.
I know.
Fantastic
Marvellous
name.
by name, marvellous by nature, isn't he?
Very much so. I see what you did there. Very nice. Yeah, Blacksmith Row as well. Saeed Benrahma, quick feet and a magician with the ball, smiling face with heart-shaped eyes. I think that's an emoji rather than what they've written out to describe Saeed Benrahma. We've done this before, haven't we?
We have. Janine, fabulous. Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed that chat. So
Great to have you
after the
here.
break, it was. After the break, we'll continue our chats on African players and focus on this man who is one of the reasons behind Brighton's amazing start to the season. We will see you in 2.